Blackwing 2040, and I'm back with another Teen Titans comic book review. And today, well, tonight, we're going to be reviewing The Hunt for Raven. Now, as you can see on this cover, you see two Titans and we haven't seen it in a long time. And I'm going to explain that. So, after the recent loss of Eddie Bloomberg, Beast Boy returns to the team, Raven returns to the team, and Static decides to go back to his home in Dakota because he feels like he hasn't seen his family in a long time. So when he goes back, he finds out there's a huge epidemic going on in Dakota. A lot of people are getting sick. His sister got sick. His parents were worried about him and they were happy to see him again. His best friend Frida was happy to see him, but his girlfriend named Madison wasn't so happy to see him. But a lot of people were bashing Static for not being in Dakota for a long time. So Static decides to take it upon himself to find out what is causing this epidemic. And the cause of he runs into an old enemy named Holocaust. And his powers are pretty much his powers are very explosive. Like, he's a very fiery, buff dude. And you can, if you look at him, let me show you what he looks like. Just looking at him, you can tell he was the kind of dude that was raised, I wouldn't say raised in the streets, but just a villain that's not to be reckoned with. Here, look at this guy. See this? He's no joke. And these are his powers. Let me show you on the other page. Right here, those are his powers. He's a force that doesn't need to be reckoned with. So the Teen Titans decide to go to Dakota and help out Static. And before that, Wonder Girl talks to Cyborg, and she feels like leading the team is a really hard burden for her to take because she really hasn't been leading the team like that well. Because, Eddie died, her conflict between her and Ravager, that caused Ravager to leave the team, and it's been hard for her. So Cyborg said the reason why he sent Beast Boy back to the teams so they could regain themselves and become more of a family again, which is somewhat working. So with that, to continue on, the Titans get kidnapped by Holocaust. They really didn't stand a chance against them. So Cyborg sees that the Titans are in trouble, and he says two shadowy figures come behind him, and it says it's time that we talk about retirement in the Teen Titans. And turns out the two members that return are Superboy and Kid Flash. Now you're wondering what happened to them. Like, wait a minute, didn't Superboy and Kid Flash die? Yes, they did. But it's a very hard thing for me to explain it, so I won't explain. You guys, trust me, there are a whole lot of sources on the internet for you guys to figure out how they came back. It will tell you everything, okay? So as we continue on, Cyborg brings back Superboy and Kid Flash to rescue the Teen Titans. Holocaust puts up more of a fight this time, but the Titans were able to hold their own against Holocaust, and Kid Flash was able to dig a hole into the Earth's core and put him in there, even though with his powers and everything, it's going to take him forever to climb back up. So the Titans save Dakota. Static leaves Dakota to be with the Titans again, and on their way back, Raven gets kidnapped by the Wild. I remember I told you guys about who or what the Wild was back in the other recent video. It's like a trans-dimensional being, but here we figure out this thing, the Wild, is actually Raven's son. I know. I'm like, what? Just how? I will explain how sooner. So Beast Boy is ranting and ranting. We gotta save Raven. Saving Raven is top priority right now, and the Titans understand that because throughout this entire moment, he is so focused on rescuing Raven. And Superboy and Wonder Girl try to reconnect with each other, but they can't because Wonder Girl's the leader of the team, and she understands that Superboy is her boyfriend and all, but she needs to leading the team is top priority. relationships that could come after. So Cyborg brings in two scientists that used to not used that work for Cadmus. Their names are Rochelle Barnes and Vincent Barnes. They're a married couple. So, and also Miss Martian hasn't been acting pretty well at all. Her powers have been fluctuating in and out, and she's been having headaches and migraines and all that stuff. So she's been put to the sidelines for a little bit. Blue Beetle leaves the team, sadly. So we're down to Bombshell, Aquagirl, Beast Boy, Kid Flash, Superboy, Wonder Girl, and Raven, who is now kidnapped, and Miss Martian and Static. Only those guys are left, so it's a rescue mission to save Raven. So Aquagirl and Bombshell head into the ocean to open the portal to the Wild's dimension, while the other Titans head into the dimension to be, the search party. And while they go into the trans dimension, their powers have changed. Like Beast Boy has freeze vision, and Static's lightning powers are now like yellow lightning, not like how it's blue. So they were able to deal with that, but the dimension has been taking them in and out, in and out. Miss Martian was able to regain herself and was able to help out the Titans in some way, but the Wild was able to communicate with Miss Martian because she was able to contact the Wild before when it first attacked the Titans back in the recent volume. So while Miss Martian was under the Wilds a little bit in control, she killed one of the doctors. She killed the Vincent, and so the other doctor, Rochelle Barnes, was able to stabilize her with a vaccine. And they gave her this helmet, which was able to have her create an astral projection of herself to help out the Titans in their journey to rescue Raven. While back in the ocean, Aquagirl and Bombshell were eaten by a sea serpent that came from the Wild's dimension, but Miss Martian was able to save them, but they became lost at sea, so no one knows what happened to them yet, but there's been a rescue mission hoping to find them. Well, who knows what happened to them? We never know. So back in the Wild's dimension, the team runs into the Wild and Raven, and they were somehow able to save her, but the Wild tells Raven that he is Raven's son, and Raven was the one that actually created him. The way she created him was her soul self gathered around a bunch of wild animals and combined into one being, and from then on it formed the Wild. So the Titans were able to pull up a fight against the Wild, but here's the cool crazy thing about this though. Static was the one that actually saved the day. Let me tell you how. Raven was pulling back the Titans, telling him, "Don't kill him, don't kill him, don't kill him." And the Superboy and Wonder Girl saying, what do you mean don't kill him? This thing was about to kill you. And if he comes to the main dimension, he will take over. He will really destroy the earth. But Static, with all the fluctuating yellow lightning, he was able to shoot every ounce of energy in him into the Wild and was able to kill it. And because the Wild had the power to blast anything at the Titans, he was able to blast kryptonite at Superboy. He was able to blast lightning that almost killed Wonder Girl. But Static, with all that energy inside him, he killed the Wild. That just shows how cool Static is. And this is why Static needs more love nowadays, because people don't know. Static don't play. Static ain't no joke. He is really one of the coolest young superheroes ever, and he's one of the coolest Teen Titans and one of my favorites. So after that, as soon as the Wild was destroyed, they returned back to their present dimension, but it came at a price. Static lost his powers, so Virgil is no longer Static Shock anymore, and Miss Martian is in a coma. So Rochelle was able to take Static and Miss Martian to Cadmus so she could figure out a way to help them get their powers back. But after that, it's been a rough time for the Titans after that. Things have not been the same. But that's the end of this story. Static pretty much leaves the team. Sadly, it's really sad, and so does Miss Martian. So now we're down to Kid Flash, Superboy, Beast Boy, and Raven. And that's the end of that, folks. So, what do you guys think of me recapping the storyline? I know this is really Static's last appearance as a Titan. I don't know about in the pre-52 of the DC universe, but this is Static's last story run with the Titans. So stay tuned for the next review, which will be called Teen Titans Team Building, and we'll see what happens with the Teen Titans in that volume. So until then, I am Vengeance, I am Darkness, I am Blackwing. Stay golden.